everyone, welcome back. Today I thought we would do something I haven't done in a long time, and that is play with these Faber-Castell dual tipped watercolor markers. I did these a while back in a video with circles and stuff, and that to this day is kind of one of my favorite pieces, and so I thought, well, let's play with those again. And so I'm using a piece of the Mungyo 9x12 cold press watercolor paper. I've just taped it down, and I've kind of given myself a grid in pencil, very light kind of grid, just kind of giving me a direction, because I think I want to do like a shape in each grid, and I don't mind if they blend together. I don't mind. I might do this again with watercolor, but I kind of want to do like something with a little, rectangle or something in each grid, and then mark making. And I decided to pull a color cube with several fun colors to work with, and this is out of Color Cube box 2. So many people always ask me which one of box 1 and 2 is my favorite. I can't pinpoint why, but I think I slightly prefer box 2. You almost always see me grabbing Color Cube cards out of box 2, and I don't really think there's a big difference in either box, but for some reason that tends to be the one that I'm gravitating towards all the time. And so I thought with these Faber-Castell markers I would pull out these colors, and so I did do pretty good actually. We've got like a coral and a brown and an orangey color and a peachy color, and this blue I wish was a tiny bit more gray, but it's fine, and then like a darker blue. So I think we did pretty darn good there. What do you think? So what I'm going to do is kind of paint on here with the markers, and then come back with a brush with water on it and just soak them down with some water. So I'm just going to grab a brush and get it ready here in my clean water so that we are ready to go. And not looking for anything specific here other than just something different and interesting. So maybe I'll start with these, and then maybe too I'll come back and line these again with some of these colors. I don't know, we'll see. And maybe just move around, and I've got 16 little boxes here, so we trade up some colors and just scoot around with our color palette, and we'll just see what we end up with. And not going in any specific order here, but I almost feel like if I work a little faster it might be better for wetting these down. So maybe I'll speed up here. Let's just let's get these ready and let's work faster, because if it dries too much, I kind of feel like, what do you think, like it might soak down into the paper more than and then be harder to get wet. I don't know, I might just be making that up, but just like that's what's making sense in my mind. So and I'm working fast, so I'm not putting a whole lot of thought in where I'm putting these, because I think it's kind of fun just to go where the inspiration leads you. Just move your pen around to each one and just see where you go. And again, just not thinking too hard about it, just moving fast. Alright, we kind of got them all filled in there. Let's just see how we did here. I'm gonna start marking with some water and let it kind of start mushing some stuff around. And they may blend all together and be completely terrible. Who knows? Always fun to just test it out and see where we go. Oh, I bet I could have taken a spray bottle and sprayed water on it and just see like what does it do if we do some sprayed water. That might have been fun too. Now I think these might all be too dark now that I did all that. But still fun to fun to learn. Now we've kind of learned like what will this do and how will they blend and what will we end up with and what can we get with the mark making and how do they work when we add the water, and does it still look like marker, or did we get it to move around enough, and can I move these into each other now and get them to start blending? Look at that. See, as you start thinking about these things, you're like, oh yeah, what about this, or oh yeah, what about that? So just something fun and different. When I'm all done, I'll erase my little pencil lines and then we'll just have, you know, something cool. Okay, that's pretty cool there. What if I take maybe a pencil, this is my 10B Pitt matte graphite, and maybe just do a little bit of mark making here, just because it's another layer in there that might be fun. Move some of that watercolor around while we're doing it. And I might let this dry and then we can mark make on top of it. And we can come back with these same colors and add marks on top. Or we could just do it with something different. I don't know. Kind of thinking that now that I've got everything wet, that I should let this dry. And then we can move on a little bit, but let's just make sure we've got a little bit of water everywhere, so maybe it doesn't just look like a bunch of marker up underneath. This is pretty cool actually. You can definitely see doing like a whole series of these and just having fun. You could do circles, you could do squares, you could not let them touch, you could let them touch. There's all kinds of fun little things that we could do with this technique. Alright, we're going to have to let that dry, so I'll be back. Alright, we're dry, and I just went ahead and erased my guidelines that I could see, because once you get more marks on here and stuff, it may just be too many things in the way. And so I thought, better get it now. And anything that's up under the paint, probably going to be permanent. There's no way you're going to get that off. So just things to think about. So make the guidelines, if you do that, very, very light, and then they won't be obvious or stand out, or you won't even see them when you erase or when there's something underneath your paint. And I just used, I don't know, an eraser that randomly came in one of my sketch boxes, I think. So I just keep that up there. I could have used my kneaded eraser. That would have been perfect for that. I just grabbed one. Now I'm thinking that we can mark make and do some fun stuff on top of this. I could go back with marker lines and dots and stuff. Since I've got the marker out, I could come back in here and just start adding some dots and lines and details and some different things to the pieces, kind of emphasizing different areas of the dots. I could do each and every one separate. We could keep it, you know, in one colorway and, you know, come back and just do things in white or black or gold. So just some things to kind of think about and see, you know, how interesting can you make the piece with the different marks and stuff that maybe you add. And because I started with this, I'm just going to spread it about so that we have some continuity through the piece as we're looking. And we might use the color changes as our guide as to where to start and stop different sets of marks. And I like how these blended and the water bloomed really nicely. You know, you can see right here where they started to combine and bloom really pretty. And so I love how those did. That's kind of fun. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I'll come back in here with maybe some white Posca pen, possibly. Oh yeah, let's do the white. And maybe we could pick something different to put in each section. Maybe we could do lines, maybe we could do dots, maybe we could do circles. You know, maybe we could do some color on color with gold in the middle. I mean, just to start thinking, what are some of the different lines and things that I could create to make each box kind of individual, and at the same time when you're done the whole piece looks cool from back further away. So that particular Posca seems to soak in a little bit. Sometimes I get a Posca that sits on top real nice, and sometimes I get a Posca that soaks in and then you almost don't see it. But I'm still happy with the Posca marking. And I'm still keeping a look at my inspiration card. And I'm just looking up here at, what I have up here, thinking, what might be a nice additive. So we've got this fun orange, and that might be fun to still be in the colorway. I can't even see the orange anymore in here because of the way it all kind of blended. So we'll just add some back in. This is a vivid orange. Whoa, look how pretty that orange is. It's a vivid, vivid one. Might grab my Pigma pen and just see, like, what could we add? It could be a little different. Get out my gold zig pen. I could get out my gold ink, but this one's easier for something like this. This pen's hard to get now, so it may not be available. It's the Zig acrylic liner in that gold mica ink, but for something like this, a nice gold pen is almost easier to work with than a dip pen, but you could do a dip pen too with that gold ink. That might be something fun, or dip a paintbrush down into that gold ink and do some little paint lines, which now that I thought of that, I think I'm going to do. Let me finish filling these in. Maybe we'll get a little round brush. So that's pretty fun. You can just use the ink with a brush and very easily make some fun designs. And I'm just going to come back on and draw some more designs. Maybe some Klimt inspired swirls. Never forget our Klimt learning. Gustav Klimt has the most amazing patterns and things in his work. It's always worth going back for a relook and a restudy of his art to get ideas. Okay, that's one of my favorite spots right there. I'm thinking, what else do I want to add? We've got a few more opportunities, I feel like. And it's fun if you pick like a different shape or design or pattern to experiment with. Like now I've got little X's. You could do little X's, little cross, little O's, little squares. Ooh, little squares. I could also come back on here with some of my favorite pastels. We could do needle color 2s, or we could do some oil pastels. I'm kind of feeling like oil pastels. I got my Mungyos because they're nice and vivid and there's a large color selection. And I'm kind of feeling like I could use a little bump of something. So what are we thinking? Could possibly do this lighter color and keep it within the family, but kind of that lighter shade there. I could do like a little shape. That was a good choice. I was kind of doubting myself, like maybe this was going the wrong way. But no, I actually like that lovely little bit right there. I could do a tiny bit of that down here. Not a whole lot, but just like a little touch there. Maybe a little bit coming off the edge here. Give our little, in a little set of 3, just a tiny touch there. Okay, that actually made me very happy. Okay, what else can we do? What else can we do? I'm almost, let's see. Do I want the navy? Do I want the gold? I'm kind of feeling like this color here. And it's kind of maybe not. Let's see. I'm looking at my little color inspiration card in there too. Maybe this orangey one, just a tiny something somewhere. Oh yeah, okay, I like that. Just a little pop of something. All right, so are we there? Do we have enough going on here? Do we need to add some more? Kind of feel like I've left this one a little bit blank down here, but I kind of like it at the same time. But do we need to add maybe a little bit lighter? It's a pretty gray, which is kind of in this bluish gray area here. So I'm still kind of feeling like, you know, let's keep it within the color ranges that we've already got going here. And it can be just something subtle. I don't want it to pull the eye to the corner with the other yummies that I've got going, but I did feel like it was neglected. And now it's got something subtle in there that's fun, that really I could go back in here and fill in a bunch of these little areas that you're like, oh, well, there was nothing here, nothing there. Something super subtle might be just the ticket. This is an excellent kind of sampler project for you to test out your supplies, to test out color palettes, to get really creative with your brush marks. That's why I like doing things like this, and then we can call them samplers because we're basically sampling everything that we have. I love it. Okay, now I'm feeling better about it. Just that tiny bit. It's not so overwhelming, but it gives the eye a little something extra to rest on when it comes to big expanses of color in our samplers. Let's just call these samplers. And we should do more samplers. We should do lots of samplers. Perfect way to color palette challenge, experiment with mark making, and let's see how creative we can get with a piece. Okay, I'm kind of feeling like I'm there for today. So let's just take a look at what we ended up with. We experimented with a lot of stuff and a lovely color palette. I'm feeling pretty good about hanging out in my paint room today. And I do see, just an observation, that I went tape to tape with this, but I did not meet the tape on the top and the bottom. And so when I've got the tape peeled, I might consider trimming the paper if I think I have too much left, too much white space at the top and the bottom. But now that I've got that peeled off, I don't think I do. Just throwing out some options for you. And this is why I love the Hanamulle. It's beautiful paper and the tape peels off of it without any extra tape tricks. Whoa, look at that. All right. That was a fun piece today. Look at all the fun little details and playing that we did and experimenting with a supply that I really haven't pulled out in months, and they're really fun. So these are those Faber-Castell watercolor markers, and when they're all done, we can't really tell that that had watercolor marker or that it was a marker. The water blended in it well enough that you can't really see marker marks left underneath it, or that soaked into the paper and left, you know, a scribble. So I love that. We can see areas where there's mark making that was the marker, but I kind of left it looking like mark making, so that's pretty cool too. Hope you enjoyed painting with me today, and have fun maybe trying out some of your own sampler pieces, and I'll see you guys next time.